Peter from A&P-REACTS. I'm here today with Iris from Spoil Engine, not to talk about the band, not to talk about the records, but to talk about you. You
Yeah,
as a musician and you as a person. How's it going?
I'm doing very good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Well, thank you for taking the time. I know you're on holidays, and you
Yeah.
managed to squeeze me in into your tight holiday schedule for us to have this chat.
Yeah, we'll be here for the 3 months, so I'm fine. Yeah.
Okay, that's a very long. It's an extended holiday. That's an extended holiday.
Yeah, and I've been in Mexico before, so it's like a very long holiday.
I saw some pictures of you at the ruins, at the Mayan ruins and stuff.
Mm,
That's a place I definitely want to visit. It looked amazing, and the fact
it
that was nobody
was.
there, it's even
Yeah.
better. It was like it was all for yourselves there.
Yeah, that was crazy. I didn't expect that. I know with COVID, of course, there's like less people everywhere, but that was pretty cool because I visited like the Great Wall of China and the Colosseum, and it's always packed. There's always a lot of people there. So this was the first wonder of the world that I could see without any crowds.
I know you didn't have anybody photobomb you. You didn't have
Yeah,
to worry about
yeah,
somebody just
yeah,
like walking into the frame as you're taking a picture. It looked amazing. I'm sure you guys were
yeah.
having a great time.
Yep. Yes, we had a great time there, and yeah, Mexico in general is super chill. And now I'm back in LA, so great.
Life is good. Before we talk about the five metal albums that influence you the most as an artist, let's go back a little bit to how things got started for you. Now,
Yeah,
how old were you when you started to discover music and perhaps singing? I don't know if that's how things started for you. Did you start with an instrument or did you start singing?
I started with an instrument when I was around like 11, 12. So I played the guitar. And I only got into like clean singing when I was like 16. And the grunts and the growls and stuff, screams, I did when I was 14. So I first was able to make those like loud monster sounds. And after that, I learned how to sing, and which most people do it the other way around. But yeah, that's how it started for me.
Did you take any lessons? Any singing lessons?
For clean vocals, I did. For grunts and the heavy vocals, I didn't take any lessons because there were no lessons available for that. And I even had like vocal teachers tell me like, you can't do this because it's like bad for your voice and blah 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 blah. And I was like, I can do this for 2 hours and I have no problems. So that's how I got into teaching myself, because I know it's possible to do it like in a healthy way and without damaging your cords.
Mhm.
So that's actually my job today, like teaching people how to do that and like the proper ways how to do that. But I only got into metal when I was around 14. So it's pretty late. I didn't have like family who listened to metal. Like some people are like, oh yeah, my dad listened to Metallica, for instance, and
Yeah.
that's how I picked it up. But for me, it was just like high school and the friends I started to hang out with. So yeah, I was a little late,
You're, you're,
but
you're a late bloomer.
yeah. First, I just listened to pop music and like the craziest stuff, just radio, and yeah, I discovered metal through friends actually.
Once you start getting more into music and you start doing the singing, how did your family reacted to it? Like, were your parents supportive of you, of your endeavors and the things that you wanted to try to reach one day?
Yeah, well, they were very supportive in music, but they were a little shocked when I started to do like these growling vocals in my bedroom. They were like, "What's going on?" So that took some time, but nowadays they're very supportive, and they come to concerts if I have like a release or something coming up. They're always there. So they needed some time to adjust and to like get used to like metal because they didn't know what it was. They just like they listened to like classical music and just pop music, and then there were these like demonic sounds for them, and they were like, oh, what's happening?
Yeah, their poor little daughter. They thought you were going to pick up a piano and play some Beethoven or Bach, and next thing
Yeah.
you know, you're screaming into the mic.
Yep. Yeah. But no, but they always like when I wanted to go to a concert or something, they would like bring me and my friends there, and just so they've been supportive.
When you got started and you started singing and started looking at going into a band and doing this more on a professional level versus just having fun in your own bedroom, at,
Yeah.
at that time period, was there a lot of barriers for you to get going and to push into a genre that's pretty much male dominated? Not as much now, but back then it was.
Yeah, it was. It was. Well, I was always hanging out with dudes in general, so it was not like, oh, I had to do like weird things to get into a band or something. So that's I had a lot of friends, like so it was not difficult for me to get into the scene. And of course, you always have dickheads who are like, oh, you're a girl, and that's why you get the job. You know, I've had that with Spawn Engine also, but no, I'm just, for me it was pretty easy. It's like, it's still, you know, the image that you have to present, or some people think that you have to, how you have to dress and stuff. Yeah, that's a problem sometimes, and you have to be very strong, have your own boundaries in that. um but I think with more and more females entering the scene, we're on the right path with that.
I agree. I agree. And you mentioned that you're teaching others how to use their harsher side of their vocals, and how to help them with that. Do you
Yeah.
feel like perhaps you don't want that role, or maybe you do, but you feel like you could easily you're becoming a role model for other girls that perhaps are discovering metal, they're discovering a band like Spoil Engine, and then they'll look up to you as a role model for what they can achieve. There's no boundaries. They can do whatever they want to do.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's amazing. I definitely have some girls who will like show up at every concert that we play, and you know, I know that they're looking up to me, and I think that's great. I think that's great, and I like to inspire other girls, and so we need as much females as possible in the metal scene. I think it's only going to get better.
I totally agree with you. I mean, I think metal is a genre that's really for everybody. There's no boundaries as far as race, ethnicity, color. I mean, whatever you want to put.
Yeah,
I think it's just such a welcoming genre, and I think we have to continue to feel that way and allow it to be that way. That
yeah,
anybody that wants to be in it can be in it, and I don't think we should ever stop people from feeling welcome into this great music and into this great scene
it
that metal
is.
is.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
think you
yeah.
play a huge role in that.
Yeah, yeah, thanks. That's great to hear. And I think it's very important. And yeah, also have like women and people of color in the scene, you know, that's important that the scene keeps growing and doesn't get stuck. You know, sometimes I, like a few years back, I had that feeling that, okay, the scene is a little stuck. Also, if you see like yeah, the posters for the festivals, you know, where's, can we change a little more, or like, yeah, some progression in everything, that would be very nice. And I think it's a slow process, but we're gonna get there.
Yeah, yeah. I think everybody's pulling in the right direction, and I think that's the
Yeah,
main thing. As long as everybody's working towards the same goals, it may take time, but we'll get there. And
yeah,
getting there, let's get into the 5 albums that influenced you. I see a trend. When you sent
yeah.
me this list, I was like, you know, I could see that there's a pattern here. You know, like she's
Yeah,
not listening to like Metallica, she's not listening to Slayer.
no,
There's definitely a pattern, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that your list is wrong. It's your list. So when it comes
yeah,
to your taste and how you got into metal, there's really no rules, right? It's just I just thought it was really interesting because I could feel like there was a very specific pattern to it. And we're gonna go through the release dates. So I don't know if this is how you discover the albums, but I thought like in order to create some order in this universe of our discussion, let's go by
hmm,
the release date. So I'm gonna start with
yeah,
Bring Me the Horizon. Count Your Blessings. Their debut album came out in 2006. Now,
hmm,
how did you discover this album? Was it through a friend?
yeah.
And what kind of impact did it have on you?
Yeah, friends. Yeah, I had a few friends in high school who, like, I started out soft, you know, Green Day, Avril Lavigne, some Paramore, and then it was like it went to like early Bring Me and Suicide Silence, and it was just my friends introducing me to these new bands, and also just going to concerts and festivals and checking out new things and new bands. So yeah, this one I discovered through a friend, um, and I was just fascinated by his vocals. I was just like, "Oh, this is so heavy," and it's just like, "Can I do that?" And that's how I started to try to do vocals, just copy him and a few others. But I think this album, like the first track, I think is "Pray for Plagues." yeah, that's definitely one of the songs that I was trying to imitate to get like you still hear it a little bit. I just go from like the lows to the highs, and you hear him do that on that album. And I love their hair. Oh my god, I'm a retired emo. I'm not. You never fully retired, but it's like I love their haircuts. I was kind of obsessed with it.
You're not
Um,
retired. You're working towards the retirement, emo retirement.
I don't know. I hope it's coming back at some point. I hope so. Then I can like
I think
cut
you're
my
in
hair
a
again.
minority. I think you're in a minority that you're hoping for a comeback. I mean, things happen in
Yeah.
cycles. Like things happen in cycles. We saw a coming back of people wearing bottom bell pants. And
Yeah.
so you never know. Maybe emo in 2025 will have a comeback. You never know.
Yeah, maybe with a different look, but I think already like I hear some new, like a lot of people send me tracks, and I work with a lot of people on their tracks. I help them write vocals for it. And a lot of them have some proper emo influences, I can tell you. So I guess 2 years
Well,
and we're
you can call it new emo. Like
yeah,
there was new metal. Now there's new emo. Like
new emo. Yeah, yeah, it would be great. I love it. Yeah.
how do you feel about Bring Me the Horizon? I mean, there's another album from Bring Me the Horizon on your list, and we'll get to it. But how do you feel about a band like them that has changed so much from that debut record to where they are today?
Yeah.
Like, is that something that you appreciate, or you kind of deep inside you kind of hope that they had stayed more closer to that original sound of that debut record?
No, I love it. I love I just see it as like a progression. It's just like and even on the latest record, there's like one or two songs that are more like their older work again. So I just loved everything that they bring out. I could also just have like 5 Bring Me albums here, but I was like, not gonna do that. Just gonna pick the two best ones, and that had the most influence on me. Um, but yeah, I love it. I love that they have the balls to like mix things, because you're gonna get a lot of shit in the metal scene if you're doing things a little different. There's just gonna be like a lot of people who are like, no, it's not metal and blah, 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 blah. I don't know. I can appreciate like a lot of genres, so I like that they merge a lot of stuff together, and um, yeah, that I still think that they are a pretty hard band.
I think they've earned the ability because of their popularity. They've earned the ability to be able to go outside the box. Not every band earns that opportunity. Bands like Metallica have done it, but there's always a very few and far in between because it's kind of hard. Like you said, you're going to get so much hate, so
Yeah.
you have to have the ability to deal with it, but also the ability to have the strong enough fan base that can sustain that kind of prolonged hate from
Yeah.
from from a lot of people online, especially online. I mean,
Yeah.
like everybody that
Yeah.
has something to say is going to use the internet to say it.
hmm Yeah, it's very safe to like
It's behind the
be
keyboard.
behind the computer and just make nasty comments. So we know all about it. But yeah, I love what they do, and I love like every album has their own. Sometimes I need some time to get used to it, but like after a few spins, I'm like I always like it. And yeah, yeah, that's basically it. It's one of my favorite bands.
Moving into the second album on your list, this is an interesting one because I have a small story to tell you about this one, and that's Asking Alexandria with Stand Up and Scream, also their debut album in 2009. So before I ask you about this album, I have this short story to tell you. I went to see Asking Alexandria, I think maybe 3 years ago. I think it was around that time. And they were opening for Black Veil Brides. And it was really interesting. So we got there to see the show. The place was packed. Asking
Yeah.
Alexandria rocked the place. As soon as they were finished, I would say 80% of the people left. So when Black Veil Brides
Oh,
came on
wow.
stage, there was only like, I don't know, like 100 people in the venue. It felt like there was only 10 people because the place almost got completely empty. And it was such a weird experience. I've never been to a show where the opening band has more fans than the headline.
Yeah.
So it was such a weird experience, but
Oh,
they kicked
wow.
us. They kicked us. We had a great time watching Asking Alexandria. So what was it about this album? And once again, was it a friend that introduced you to them?
Well, yeah, I think we went to a lot of festivals back then. So it's the same friend group that I had in high school who introduced me like to, I think, at least 3 or 4 of these records. This was definitely one of them again. And I remember that we played this in the car like every time when we would go somewhere, and just like we all loved it, and we loved the electronic sounds in it, because it was not really a thing back then. To like, it was mostly like heavy guitars or a lot of electronics, and they had like this in between. Um, and this album made me obsessed with like the switch between clean and the grunge. I was just like, oh wow, that's also like something I'd like to do. So this album, yeah, got me into clean vocals and trying it at home. And I was like, I was doing like everything wrong. So then I took singing lessons, and they teach me the basics of clean singing. And I still think that Danny, the vocalist, he has such like a warm,
Yeah.
clean sound. Like most like emo bands, just to call them like that, have like very high pitched, very more thin kind of voice, and he has like this warm, big voice to me. And that in combination with the grunts that he does, I think that's amazing.
Yeah, he has a very warm sounding voice. Like it has depth.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
kind of has a life of its own. I really enjoy his clean vocals more than the
yeah.
harsh vocals. I find that his clean vocals just always bring a lot of emotion to the lyrics that he's singing.
Yep, it does. Yeah, and he tried to do like this other band where he was doing only clean singing, but I don't think that really worked out. Because he left the band for a little
Yeah, he
bit
left
at
for a
some
while and
point.
then he returned. I think he's better suited for the overall sound of Asking Alexandria,
Yeah,
and I think the band needed him back. To be honest with you,
yes. Yeah, I saw one performance with the other guy. I don't know, Dennis, I think. Yeah, Dennis. That was not the same band.
no, I mean, you change one guy, but he's such an important element of the band that you're changing the whole
Yeah,
band. It's just not the
yeah,
same thing.
yeah. No, I was really glad when he came back, and I think they had some proper, you know, press attention because of it. So I think it only made the band bigger.
I think it's really interesting that these first two records influence you in two different ways. With Bring Me the Horizon was more of the harsh vocals, and then with
Hmm.
Asking Alexander was more of the clean vocals. So it's
Yeah,
really interesting that those two records had two complete different impacts on you and what you wanted to do, and kind of merge those two into one, and then
yeah,
kind of creating your own style and your own approach. I think this is a really interesting spot to start off with these two records having those two very separate influences.
yeah. No, definitely, and yeah, they both had the same haircuts, so it was just like,
That's a good
there's a
point about
trend.
the fashion element is also important. We cannot
Yeah,
downplay the fashion
yeah,
element when it comes to fronting a band. You know what I mean? Like you have to look proper. You
yeah,
have to dress to impress. And I had a boss of mine that used to say you have to dress for the job that you want, not for the job that you have.
yeah,
I don't know how doable that is in music, but I think you definitely have to look the part. Like
yeah,
you can't show up there and look like something that you're not, or that your
yeah,
band is not. I think that goes a long way.
yeah. No, true. You just have to, we also have, when we play a show, it's like, be there, and you're just like, you're part of the band as soon as you enter the venue, and you don't get out of that until everyone went home, and you can be like, put your glasses on and just like be a little nerd again.
Yeah, you can put your Crocs on and
Yeah, yeah.
a little,
Yeah, I definitely had shows where I showed up with like in my trainers or something, and then the rest was like, no, get dressed.
it
I'm a
feels
late
that is.
sleeper, so sometimes that's difficult.
I've seen people at shows before the show, because I normally go really early to hang out with the bands that I know, just to
Yeah,
just to shoot the shit and have something to eat and just talk and whatever. And it's happened to me, like I know these people really well, but I'm used to seeing them in one way. So before
yeah,
the show, somebody passed by me and I didn't recognize them. They're like, "Hey, dude, how's it going?" And I'm like, "Hey," and I'm like, "Who the hell is that?"
Yeah, yeah.
Holy crap! It looks so different, like with no makeup or
Yeah.
sweatpants and a hoodie. Like, I was like,
Mm-hmm.
"What's that?" I thought it was like
Yeah.
or something. I didn't recognize them. So that vision that we have as fans sometimes of how you look like,
Yeah.
that's how we picture you all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you're going to the grocery store like you know.
Yeah, just a full rockstar outfit. I'm doing my groceries. Yeah.
And your mic wrapped around your arm, and that's how you go to the store. Never
Yeah.
happened.
Oh no, that'd be fun. There would be a lot of work, a lot of time spending like looking good. No, I've had like festivals when I had a show and stuff like that. I want to take a shower and change. And if I just go out with my trainers and a hoodie on and just like sunglasses, I can just walk where the fuck I want. And if I'm like fully dressed, I'll have people like, "Oh, can I take a picture?" Which is fun. But it's also fun to see that as soon as you dress like different, they don't recognize you anymore.
Yeah,
That's
it's like
great.
the whole
Yeah.
Superman thing. You become Clark Kent just by putting the
Yeah. Yeah, and sometimes you have a few people who are like, looking and trying to make sense of like, is this, and then they you see them just hesitate to approach you, and I think that's always funny, especially if you have these sunglasses where they cannot see your eyes and you can see them. I love it.
By the way, when I see folks that I know at festivals, backstage or wherever, like my son is the worst. Like he's always like, go talk to them, go say hi, get a picture, whatever. And I'm always like, no, like I don't want to bother people. Like they get bothered all the time. Like I like to give people their space. So I'm always caught between being a fan and I want to have a picture with somebody, and at the same time understanding the dynamics of the life that you guys live and getting bothered all the time and allowing you to have your own space. So I'm always like caught in between those two worlds. And my son is always poking me like, just go get a picture. Just go get a. It's like, no, get a picture. I don't want to bother people. I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it's fine, I would say just see what the vibe is, so you can see how someone stands and how someone walks if they want you to leave them alone, or that they're open to it. I'm mostly open to it, if someone wants a picture, I'm like, yay. But I know some people who never are in the mood to take a picture with someone. So yeah, it's just like, use your intuition with that. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
So the next album on your list is a very interesting band, a band that I really dig this band, Parkway Drive with Deep Blue. Their third album came out in 2010. I've seen these guys live and they absolutely destroy it. Like they're like Red Bull, but on stage. Like they have so much energy, like you could feel it.
Yeah.
How is this album to you in terms of, you could have picked any Parkway Drive album, I guess, but this one had a specific impact. Why this one?
Yeah. Well, I listened to all the albums yesterday when I was driving from San Diego to LA. But I also listened to like their older stuff, and I think their older stuff was more like straightforward, a lot of high energy all the time. And I think with this album, they found like a nice space, it's just like, it's melodic, and they give the song some time to breathe now and then they go fast again. So it's not like, oh, they lost their energy, not at all, but they have like bouncy parts and then they have like more trashy parts. And I think he doesn't yell like the whole song, like in the previous two. It was just like go 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 go, and but they thought more about the songwriting, I think, with this one. So that's what I love. And I also love his voice. I'm obsessed with vocalists and their sounds. I'm always like looking for vocalists who have like this these voices with a lot of identity in it and a lot of character in it. Because I think a lot of vocalists sometimes sound the same, especially with like everyone producing their records at home nowadays and using the same plugins and compressing the shit out of it. So I'm always like looking for vocalists who have like that sound, that if you have 100 vocalists screaming, you can say, okay, it's that guy,
Yeah, you'll know it exactly. This
Yeah.
is an interesting band. I mean, Parkway Drive, I mean, all three so far, but Parkway Drive is also a band that has evolved. Like you said, at least in the way they construct songs has changed.
Yeah.
I think this album kind of breaks the mold for them because I think they start to realize that in order for us to be heavy, we don't have to be heavy and fast 100%
Yeah.
of the time on every single song, on every single record.
Yeah.
We can fluctuate a little bit more, make the album a little bit perhaps easier for the listener to navigate through because it doesn't feel like like you're in a NASCAR,
Yeah.
driving at 100 miles an hour all the time. And I think this album kind of breaks that mold of what they had before and what they're doing now. I think
Exactly.
this is the breaking point for them.
Yeah, yeah, and I think they realized that like giving full, like starting your show on 90% energy and ending in a 90% energy, and in between you stay at 90%. There's not much of a dynamic there, and people get overwhelmed at some point, because I saw like early shows of them, and they also have like a few seconds before they start playing the next song, and I feel like I always when I listen to a song, I want like a few moments in the song or like after the song to just be like, you know,
Yeah,
let it sink in for a little bit. That's one of the things why I'm not into bands like Slayer or because you named that, at the start of this interview. I just don't like it because it's the same all the time for me. um, and I get why some people like that. If you have a 9 to 5 job and you're gonna go to a Slayer concert
it's good.
at Friday, yeah, I can imagine it's really good because it's just like 1 or 2 hours energy and you're just gonna run around and get that whole week out of your system. But for me, yeah, no, I like a little more dynamics in it, and yeah,
You like more
basically that.
changes. You like things to flow a little bit more.
Yep, yep, yeah, and then the melodic part is very important to me.
Yeah, you're not
Yeah.
going to see Slayer doing clean vocals
No.
or showing up shirtless at a show. I mean, it would be interesting, but I think that ship has sailed.
Yeah, 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 yeah. They quit now, right? So it's like
Not going to happen.
not
Uh,
gonna happen anymore.
the next album on your list is another Bring Me the Horizon. Like you said, you could have done 5 Bring Me the Horizon albums.
Oh yeah.
You have another one, Sempiternal. What about this? Is
Yes.
the fourth album. So
Yeah.
the first one had a huge impact on you because, like you said, in terms of the vocals. What was it about this one that made it extra special?
Also the vocals again, because I think his vocals sound really good at this one. I have like with the album before There's a Hell, I think like he was still searching for like what do you want to sound like. I think that's also an amazing album, but this one is like songwriting wise, I think like there's no bad song on this album. It's all written really well. The samples and guitar thing, they had that figured out at that point, and they also got Jordan into the band. So yeah, just I know the words to every song. It's just like when that came out, it had like I think I listened to only that album for like a month. I was obsessed. Yeah, and I really like his the he's between like the clean and the grunts there, like, so you can understand every word he says. I mean, he does it with so much emotion and energy, and I love that, like the distorted vocals but still very emo. Yeah, I
It still
just
has
love
that.
it.
It still has that in there.
Yeah.
The last album on your list is a band that I love, Architects, Lost Forever, Lost Together, their sixth album. I've also
Mm-hmm.
got to see these of all the bands that you've put on your list. The only band that I haven't seen live is Bring Me the Horizon. I actually got to see Architects
Yeah.
in 2019 when they were touring for their not their latest album, because their latest album just came out now, but the previous record. And what a great show! What a great band! Tons of energy,
Mm-hmm.
tons of ups and downs in terms of emotional ups and downs as you go,
Yeah.
not just as you go from song to song, but even within the tracks themselves. So, what is it about Architects in this specific album that has a special place in your heart?
Yeah, well, the same as what you just mentioned. It's like an emotional roller coaster, It just goes up and down, and it flows really well together. And the production of this album, which is done by Henrik, Fatman Studios in Sweden. That's where we did our albums, and like this album, um, played definitely a role, and we all love this. Like the guys in Spoil Engine and we come from a lot of different influences, right? Because they love Slayer and and Gojira, you know, we all have like we come from different places. But on this record, we all agree this is an amazing record, and it sounds amazing also. So yeah, this is the album that took us to Sweden and to do our albums there, like get it mixed by the same guys who did this record.
That's a huge influence for this album to have that kind of impact and bring everybody's different tastes and genres together, and everybody agrees on it. That's not something that always happens.
No, true. So like we have a few bands that we agree on that are like really nice, and this is one of them. Yeah.
Now, from all the bands on your list, which one? I think I know the answer. I mean, I think I could ask you any question you have. I think I know what the answer is going to be, but I'm going to ask it anyways. From all these bands, which one puts on the best live show, at least from your experience of going to see these bands live?
Oh, live show, yeah. I think Parkway and Bring Me, because they're different. Like, but they have the same kind of. They just put on a big show. I think Architects is also they play really well. But Parkway with like the fire and Bring Me with like all the LED screens, they just like it's like a full production, you know, that I bring, and I love that. And I saw Parkway a few more times than Bring Me. I saw Bring Me 2-3 times, and Parkway I think 4 or 5 times now. Yeah, it's just that it gives me the same feeling when I'm there, you know. Even though like when I'm just playing on Spotify, I'll listen more to Bring Me than to Parkway, but live show wise, I'll go to both when they are near my town or in Amsterdam or wherever the fuck I am at that point. I'll definitely go to both of those bands shows.
And from all of these bands, if you were asked to cover on a tour one of these bands, like play with them, and their lead singer can't make it for whatever reason, and they ask you to go in, which band do you feel like your vocals would fit better? That it would be less of an adjustment?
I think I know I can sing Bring Me songs pretty well because I tried it a lot of times in my car, you know. But like I think Asking Alexandria might be the closest of what I do in Sport Engine. But I think if like one of them, like Architects would be the most difficult one because he has like this very specific spots where he switches, you know, and that then you get like the male female vocal break is in a different point, so that would be difficult for me. But Parkway would work, Bring Me would work, Asking would work. I'd be down to doing any of them.
You would do any just as long as Slayer is not asking you, you'll do any of them. It's fine.
Yeah, I've got like or Pantera or something, because I've had like this thing that we were playing with like Pantera cover band, pretty great one, and they wanted me. I was not around, but they wanted to ask me on stage to do a song with them, like as a surprise, like a very famous Pantera song. I don't even know which one it was, but they couldn't find me at that point, so I was probably outside talking to people or something like that. That's a good thing, because they set the song and I would just be standing there like, I don't know the words, you know. So that would be like very awkward. So I'm glad that didn't happen. So no.
It would perhaps be a more atmospheric version of a Pantera song. You could just do some humming and on like some noises. Whatever, like, you know, it would be more of almost instrumental / atmospheric Pantera track.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, but yeah, like if they would ask me to. Yeah. Oh my God. I think a lot of people will want to kill me if I do that, right?
You would have to go into witness protection program if you did something like that.
Yeah, I think so. I just like hide in Russia for the rest of my life.
Exactly. I think you would have to do something like that. The level of hate would be at an all-time high. I don't
oh God.
It would break the internet.
Yeah, yeah. No, I would not be able to show my face at any metal festivals in the world if I did that. Yeah.
I agree with you 100%. When we started this, I have one more thing to ask you. And when we started this, I said I was not going to ask you about Spoil Engine, but but I have you on, so I kind of have to ask you a
Yeah.
little bit. Like, are you guys have any plans in the short term, long term, in terms of another record? I know it hasn't been that long since the album came out, but in these days of not being able to tour and play a lot of shows, I think perhaps some of the last shows you guys played, I know you guys were at the 70,000 tons, and I think you
Yeah.
shows after that, but you haven't really been able to support the album as well as you probably would otherwise.
No, no,
So
not at all. We thought like, okay, we're gonna tour, but that didn't happen. We got a few dates in Europe, so I'm 3 months in LA now, and then I fly back mainly because we don't know what's gonna happen. We have shows booked, but the situation in Europe is not great at this point. So I think it might not happen again this year. But I'll be there, and I hope we can at least do, even if it's just one or two shows, this year that we can make. But we're just looking forward to that, because yeah, the album we did our release show. We did some shows in December, I think, locally, and then we did Miami, but that's it. Then everything just shut down. We got just in time off that cruise ship. It's like I think like a few weeks later I saw like cruise ships just floating around and people couldn't get off anymore because it's like, oh yeah, oh my god, yeah. But that's like my worst nightmare, being stuck at sea. It's like, and just stay there for a month in your room. Yeah, no. But yeah, we only did a handful of shows for the album, so we just want to play again. Basically, that's just the focus. Like when there's a live show, we just hope we can play a live show this year.
are you guys holding back another record until the situation clears up a little bit? There's no urgency from your end. Do you see it that way? Or
No,
are you kind of
no, because it's like as soon COVID is over, like everyone is gonna release a record. So then
even
you have to.
Slayer is going to release another record when
Yeah.
it's going to be flooded. The market is going to be flooded.
Yeah. So no, for me, I don't think that makes sense at this point to drop an album again with Spoil. But we've been working on some tiny stuff, maybe a single here and there, but yeah, we'll
We
see.
need some
We'll
more music
see.
from you guys. The same way you were playing these records, like you said, you played the Bring Me the Horizon album like for a whole month. When you guys released your last record, I was playing that record for a whole month when it came out.
Oh, nice.
That
Yeah.
life was still going on, so we were able to drive to places. And I remember I would drive my son to soccer practice, and I would be playing your record on the way there and then on the way back. I just
Oh, great.
it,
Yeah.
it was such an outstanding album. I mean, like I really enjoyed the records up until that point, but I think this last album kind of tips the scale a little bit, if you will, for you guys. I think all the pieces came together perfectly in the right place, and the album
Yeah.
just sounds and feels amazing.
Great. Well, thank you.
So we
That's a
need
great
some more. We
compliment.
need like an EP, a single, whatever you can.
Whatever we can give you, you want it. Yeah.
We can't go anywhere. We're stuck at home. Like we need something. So
Yeah.
it's a bone here and there. Give us like a single. I don't know, something like
Yeah.
a cover of something. I don't know, like whatever, something. We just
Well,
something.
yeah. Well, I'll call the guys and ask them, like, hey, can we do something? And then say it's just for you. It's just for you.
Just a jam session thing, whatever. Just throw some things together. It doesn't, you can be wearing Crocs if you want. Like you don't have
Oh yeah. Oh, I love that. Like a hoodie and Crocs, and then just big sunglasses.
big sunglasses, but a little bit crooked, not like perfectly on, like a little bit like sideways, like you've been drinking the night before. Keep them sideways.
I don't drink anymore, so that's great. Yeah, I'm sorry.
You were watching Netflix until 4 o'clock in the morning, so you're a little tired.
Yeah.
The sunglasses a little bit crooked. You film it like that, and it's going to be amazing.
Yeah. No, yeah. Then I would love that. I'll pitch that to them. Crocs.
And if you need
hoodie,
any help,
sunglasses.
hoodie, sunglasses a little bit crooked, and you're good to go.
Yeah. Okay, I'll pitch it to them.
And if you need help, you let me know, and I'll come in as a special marketing advisor, and I'll help you get that idea through.
Cool. Yeah. You can maybe send Steven a message that you want
I'll
that.
convince
He's
everybody.
gonna,
I'll send all the guys different messages, and I'll convince all of them that this is the right thing for the band.
Yeah, I
The
think
direction
so.
is the new
Yeah.
direction that you guys.
What's your favorite song of the previous album? Do you have one?
To be honest with you, I don't. I listen to the album from start to finish, so I don't really have like a favorite song that I play all the time.
Yeah.
I just like the fluidity of the album. I think the album is strong on the individual song basis, but for me, I'm an old school guy. When I listen to a record, I listen to a record from start to finish. I don't like to just like shuffle, or I don't even use Spotify. I don't even have Spotify.
Okay.
I'm still like old school, like with an iPod, listening to songs and listening to full albums. That's how I listen to it. Do you have a favorite song?
Yeah, I got two. I like Venom a lot to play, and Golden Cage.
I was gonna say live. Like, do you have a favorite from the album? Do you have a favorite song that you like to perform live?
Yeah, Venom and Golden Cage are my favorites of that album.
If I have to pick one, if you're putting a gun on my head, Golden Cage is my absolute favorite. But I like the album. I like the album as a whole, right? Like, I really like the album, and I like the fluidity that the album gives me from song to song. And the reason I'm saying that is I listen to the album in sequence, and that's how I did my review. That's how I listened to the record. And then when we were going somewhere, sometimes I don't have time to listen to the whole album. So I would try to listen to some songs here and there. And for example, Golden Cage, which is like I said, it's probably my favorite track on the record. But if I listen to that track on its own, it doesn't have the same impact as if I listen to that track in the context of the album. I know it may sound crazy. I know some people say, like, what the hell is the same song? What the hell you're talking about? No, like, I love that song, but I need to listen to the tracks that came before and the tracks that come after in order for that song to have the full strength.
To pop. I get what you mean. Yeah. But I'm very happy about the placement of that track, like in the album.
In the album, But the moment I was listening to the album, that song became like one of the more, I don't know, impactful tracks. I just, your vocals, your clean vocals on that song, they're like haunting. They have this dark, they're beautiful and they're melodic, but the beauty is not like a bright beauty. It's like a dark, like this sinister beauty to it. And I just love it. But I love the whole album. Nice. I hate to single out a song here and there, but that one is special.
Thank you. Yeah, that's definitely one of my favorites. Golden Cage,
you guys released a video for it, so I was assuming that it's going to be somebody's favorite.
Mine. Yeah.
Actually, if I remember correctly, we checked out the video on the channel because I wanted my son to listen to check out the video and check out the song before I started playing it in the car. Because I was like, you got to check this out. This is an incredible track. But overall, the whole album works for listen to it from the first to the last. At least for me, like I said, I don't even have Spotify, so.
Yeah, no, that's great. I'm a millennial, so I'm too impatient to just go like through a whole album. I'm just like, give me the things I like, But it's great to hear that you took the time to do that, and that's people still do take the time to.
For me, every record that I listen to, I very rarely I go back and I play it on shuffle, or I pick favorite songs. If I like a record, I listen to the whole album, and every time. The only time I will listen to like more of a shuffle is if I know that I'm going somewhere and I don't have the time that I need to listen to the album from beginning to end, right? So like, if I'm going somewhere and it's a 20-minute drive, or if I want to go pick up a coffee and it's like a 10-minute drive, there's no time to listen to a whole album. So that at that specific time, I'll listen to something on shuffle. Outside of that, I have to listen to the whole record because I just feel like the songs taken out of the context of the album, they lose something. They're not the same song anymore. I'm old school.
Yeah, well, that's great.
I'm an old guy. It is what it is.
That's all right. That happens to all of us.
Hey, hopefully I'll be around for that new emo that's coming out in 2025. So.
Oh yeah, it will. Yeah, you can get your haircut ready, right?
I'll tattoo a haircut.
Yeah, just tattoo like an emo haircut. Yeah. Oh my God. I'll be your #1 fan if you do that.
Oh my God, life will never be the same.
Yeah, yeah.
That's for sure.
No.
Well, Iris, thank you very much for your time today, man. This was just such a wonderful chat. I know we've been back and forth for a long time to set out this date, but I'm glad that we
Yeah.
did, because I had such a great time talking to you about music, about your favorite music, about your band, about yourself. And
Yeah, me too.
enjoy the rest of your holidays.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'll be here for 3 months, and I'll do Europe for a few months, and I'll be back here. So if you're ever down in LA, let me know.
Well, I was going to say, if you ever stop in Toronto, you let me know, and we'll hang out. I'll take you out to eat
Yeah.
whenever things get better, and I'll take you to Niagara Falls so you can see the Niagara Falls. It's one I don't know
Oh
if you've ever
shit,
been there.
yeah. No, I haven't been there.
Yeah,
It
it's
sounds good.
like an hour drive from where I live. It's not that far, so I can
Oh,
hop
cool.
you guys in a car,
Yeah.
take you guys there to see it.
Yeah. Oh, that would be great. Yeah, I'll let you know if I'm flying on Toronto and
Yeah,
just
let me know for
like
sure, for sure. I'd love to hang out.
yeah. Yeah, great. Well,
All right,
let's
all the
try to do
best.
that.
Enjoy your
Yeah.
holidays, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah. See you soon. Thanks for the interview. I really enjoyed it. So yeah.
Take
Have a
care.
great day.
You too. Bye.